Hey guys, welcome to the Real Life Everything podcast. We're your hosts, Ebony Westwood
and Kristen Noel.
Here on the RLE pod, we dive into the real, relatable, and raw topics as we navigate adulthood and real life our dreams.
Our mission is to support women by encouraging authenticity, self-awareness, and celebrating all our real life wins and sisterhood along the way.
What are you real life in today, Chris?
I'm real lifing everything. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Life Everything podcast. I'm Ebony Westwood.
I'm Kristen Noel.
And welcome back.
Welcome back. So today we have an amazing new guest. This is also my bestie. This is somebody I've known since pretty much the first day of high school. Actually, before high school even started, because we was on Xanga, y'all. I don't know if y'all remember Xanga. Go way back before MySpace, before Black. No, it's around the same time as like Black Planet. But we was on these blogs. In middle school, and we found out we were both going to Bishop McNamara. Shout out to McNamara.
Okay.
And then on like, what was it, like orientation or something, my mom started talking to her, and then we just became besties from there. So literally A1 since day one. And my girl Adrienne, she is a money maven. So this is Adrienne Davis, CFP, CPA, and if y'all don't know what that means, I will let her describe it. Just know when you want to know about the finances, this is your girl. So we're going to get into all things money today.
Yes.
Adrienne, do you want to introduce yourself for us?
Yes, my name is Adrienne Davis. Kristen gave a wonderful introduction. I'm so appreciative. I'm so excited to be here. I'm sure a lot of my credentials and things I do will come up in this conversation, but I'm originally from PG County, and I live in PG County. I had a stint in Atlanta and moved back, so I'm really excited to live here where I work and grow, and yeah.
Glad she's back. And y'all, we've been around the world together. Like, I love this girl. We've been to what, like 7-8 countries together so
Something
far?
like that. Something crazy.
Yeah, so we have so many memories, and I'm glad that we're both back in PG County too, because we've moved around and now we're both back here, and it's always great to be close to your besties.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm excited for this conversation, and I'm excited for just our lives to continue growing and blossoming. It's so good to have these old school friends, you know, from day one, like I said. So yeah, let's get into it.
That was beautiful. Oh, I love that. I'm listening, and it's just reminding me of, when we had my two best friends up here, and it's like, you're right. It is so good to just be close to your best friends physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Through
so
the years, through the decades.
That part.
I remember texting you, and you would always be in Asia, and she would have a time difference, and I'm a night owl, so like it would probably be afternoon or something your time, and it's like 2 a.m. and I'm just texting you on your Malaysia number, whatever you have.
Yes, it was like plus 670 or something like that.
Oh my goodness.
And now it's cool to be in the same time zone.
Yeah.
Or even the same city, like you mentioned.
I know.
Yeah.
Right down the Beltway.
Yeah,
right
no,
down the
for
street.
sure. First, I need to compliment you on your makeup.
Oh, thank you.
Girl, it looks good. I'm like, I'm just staring at your brows. I'm like, they're so good.
Oh, thank you. I was stressed. I was like, oh, I have to look. See, you said no perfection here. I was like,
no.
Have the makeup so I can look a little bit more dolled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We show up as we are, but you do look good, girl.
You look amazing. So you say you lived in Atlanta.
I did.
Tell me a little bit, like, what part of Atlanta did you live in?
I lived in the Lindbergh/Buckhead area.
Okay.
Wild story about how this lady who I used to work with was moving out, and she needed somebody to rent it out. So then I lived there. Then I ended up buying it. So I lived in the same place the entire time. I lived in Atlanta. So I saw the gentrification happen.
Wow.
And what really prompted my move was COVID and wanting to be closer to my family and friends as everybody was in quarantine. It's like, okay, what do I need to do in order to have some semblance of mental health? And that me coming back and forth was like, oh, actually, this might be the time. Atlanta was my 20s. Now I'm about to enter my 30s. What do I want that to look like? And it looked like coming back home.
Got you. How long were you in Atlanta?
The 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah, 2014 until 2020, something like that. 2021.
we talked about this on our previous podcast episode, but I used to live in Marietta, Georgia.
Oh my
I moved there in like 2000 and I don't know when, but it was the early part of 2000s.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2010 to like 2012. Yeah, that sounds
Have you
about
ever
right.
been back since they put the stadium over there?
I haven't. I
Okay.
heard about the stadium,
Yeah.
and I mean, I've
What
been.
stadium is that?
It's a new. What type of stadium is it?
The baseball.
Baseball.
it was
Okay.
SunTrust. I
Yeah.
think it's Truist now.
Yeah.
Where the Braves play.
Got
but
you. Okay.
Yeah.
They moved it from downtown to Cobb County over there by Marietta.
They were talking about that when I was living there, but I didn't believe it. I didn't think Marietta would grow in the way that it has. Like, I used to work at Cumberland Mall, and it was just like such a dead end over there. I was like, they're not bringing no damn no stadium over here. Nobody's
Right,
visiting
what's over
Marietta,
here?
right? Like, I mean, it's a popular area to
Yes.
be in, but it was just so dead, and I was like,
Yeah.
they're not bringing no stadium here, so they have one now. That's what's up.
That's
My job
good.
was by Cumberland Mall. I used to,
Okay.
like, if I had a last minute party to go to and I couldn't get,
Yes.
they had the boutiques in there. I was
Yep.
like, all right, what dress can I take?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so since moving back, you said since 2020, I'm assuming?
Yeah, 2020, 2020. So 2021 is when I officially moved back, but I was back and forth before then.
Okay. Well, I mean, we can definitely start off. First of all, I know I'm moving just a little too fast,
You good.
but I'm like really excited to hear about you ladies, like friendship and
Oh my
sistership and
gosh.
all the things. You know, like you said, y'all traveled, or when you were here, she was there. Y'all was able to like still keep in contact with each
Yes.
other and stuff. So I'm excited to hear about that. But I know we want to kind of kick off with maybe some icebreakers and what we've been real lifing,
Yeah.
and then let's get into all the things because I'm excited.
Either way goes. Either way goes.
I
mean.
know.
Either way,
I
right?
think we're going to talk about the friendship aspect, but
Yeah.
that is actually quite
Yeah.
fascinating. Just thinking about where you lived in. When we first got out of school, you moved out to LA, and then I was in Atlanta, and so we were Peaches, Beaches, and Urbanista.
Yeah, so we started a blog together.
Peaches, beaches,
Yes, in Urbanistas. It was a mouthful, okay?
Georgia Peach.
But here's
and
why.
then-
Exactly. Because she
Oh
moved to
my
Atlanta with the Georgia
goodness.
Peach, and I moved to LA. I was close to Santa Monica Beach. Peaches, beaches, and Urbanistas. We were like city girls, you know,
Yeah.
in the urban cityscape.
Yeah.
This is again early blog days because
Early blog
when we were
days.
speaking about the
Goodness.
Zanga experience
Yeah.
and like how you would carry it. I mean, I was there. I'm like, I'm not really a writer, which we'll get into, but Kristen has a pen, which I'm sure
For
you
sure.
know.
Yeah, I
So
was
that-
writing my ass off, like blogging away.
Oh my goodness.
Kristen was really carrying a lot of that on her back, like as far as like getting our
Yeah.
logo and stuff.
Oh, yeah, we
done
had a
for
cute little
PDU.
logo.
It was, I mean, you were working with the person to make sure it looked like us. I think it's really cute. If we could,
I
find
gotta
it
see it.
one
I was
day.
like, we gotta
Yeah,
see
I'm gonna
this.
pull it back up. I'm gonna pull it back up. I still like. I was looking at it like a few months ago. Like, oh my gosh, we had
Yeah.
a
Oh
little
my
brand.
goodness.
Yeah.
And this was you ladies brand, just you two.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we blogged about our various travels that
Yeah.
Yeah.
we may have done together or separately, as well as I remember we had a Friendsgiving post. And remember that Friendsgiving post was kind of going viral because she
Oh,
did
it
the
was a
SEO.
little. It
She
was a
did
little
the
bit. I
SEO
forgot
on
about
it.
that. Yeah, it started taking off. People were sharing it. It was something like how to plan a Friendsgiving or something
Yeah.
like that.
Oh my goodness.
And I got my first couple of like hotel deals with not even deals, but like I got a free hotel stay.
Yeah.
And I was actually like influencing people to like stay at certain places.
Yeah.
Like it was cool. Like some people went to Bali and stayed at the same villa I stayed at.
Wow.
So that was awesome. It was like really early on in those blogging and travel, you know, just
Yeah.
travel vlogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I felt like we were some of the first like black girl travel bloggers, honestly.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. I wonder
Yeah.
like if your people, your community remembers this and like what
Yeah.
people would have to say
They
about
do.
this.
They do.
Who I would say would remember is Morgan. So Morgan founded. She went to high school with us too, and I think she was on Zanga too in the early days.
She was. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
you're saying she was on what?
She was-
Zanga.
She was on Zanga.
Oh, okay.
That was the
I
blog.
thought y'all was talking about Zane the book.
Oh, no. I mean, we may have been on Zanga book too, but
Zanga. I never heard of
Zanga.
Zanga.
Yeah.
Xanga, which is it wasn't as popular as I would say Black Planet.
No,
or
it
something
didn't
like that.
fully blow up. It was kind of like an underground blog scene a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So listen, my perception on Black Planet and what y'all say it is maybe two different things. What exactly is Black Planet? Because I thought it was just for, you know what I mean?
It's
the freak at night.
No, it wasn't. It was really just like a MySpace, but for Black people. You could design, but it was a little bit different because you could design your own homepage, and that's what we was doing, like HTML and like really like bringing the web design skills when we were like 12, 13.
Oh my
But
goodness.
you could add friends, you could like talk and chat. I don't know. We were too young to be on that freak shit back in the day. Like it could, I'm sure it was people on that, but like no, we were just designing cute sites. My Black Planet name was like Baby Girl 121 or Baby Fat, something like that. Like,
do you remember yours?
I don't think I was even allowed to be on Black Planet, so I didn't have Black Planet or experience that. So Zanga was really my first experience. And I don't even remember how I found out about it. Like, you have to imagine the times. This is middle school.
For sure.
You barely get to use a computer.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm thinking about even for us, we had web design class our freshman year.
Oh,
of
okay,
high
okay,
school,
okay.
and we used to be in there designing HTML so we could like set up our MySpace.
Yeah.
We had that? I remember typing class. I didn't even remember that in high school.
Oh, I did. So maybe I did typing with you, word processing, and then I did web design with a different guy.
Oh,
yeah.
I wish I had web design. I didn't have that.
Life
was
then
on the
and life
computer.
now.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, we actually went to school for this shit, and now it's like we're hiring people to do this thing.
Yeah.
So this is crazy. Okay, so keep going. This is so good.
That's why I say I've been in like digital marketing for like 15 plus years because I started at literally like 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And so then where I was going with that is Morgan founded Black Girls Who Blog, and that became a huge blogging community. And so really cool for us to be able to do it and get our accolades as well for us to be Black bloggers. But we've even met people, I think you more than me, who were also bloggers, still keep in touch with them too, right?
Yeah, I used to get really cool with like just other Black girl bloggers from back in the day and been following each other for years. A few of them I met in real life and you know, I still follow them to this day. It's really cool.
One we just went on a boat trip with a couple of weeks ago.
What trip was that?
With Melody.
Oh, Melody, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think y'all understand. Like, this is I think we need a part 2 to this already.
I know.
Because, I mean, I know the surface of you guys' relationship and friendship and, you know, traveling the world together, but just hearing just how deeper it is between you two, I'm like, I could be here all day listening to this.
Aw, that's
This
so kind.
This is so good.
And when I lived in Asia, she came to Asia for 2 months. She took a sabbatical trip. She like quit her job. She came to visit me. She was traveling through Philippines and Thailand and Malaysia, Cambodia.
How long were you there?
You were there for 2 months.
Memorial Day through like Labor. Was it like right after Memorial Day maybe? And then all of June and all of July, and then maybe early August. I think I went back.
Oh
I
my
think
goodness!
So, yeah. And I was crashing on her couch.
Girl,
those were some times. Oh my gosh!
She comes home from a long day of work and it's like, girl, what you been up to? And I was like, well, you know, I went to the grocery store first, but you know, I went on a gym trip and got some food, but like you might want to get home and just crash on the couch, and I'm just like,
I don't even remember what I was doing at those times, but I do remember that was when I wasn't even living in my nice apartment yet. Like I just think about, I wish she would have came when I was living in my studio, my high rise. She was getting it through the mud with me over there.
Like,
that's so good.
Great walking distance. I think.
Yeah, it was.
Even the Ubers and stuff were really cheap.
Oh, so cheap.
So you could go to the store and it'd be like $1.
For the Ubers or the Grab car, they called it.
Yeah, but then what we did do is we did a lot of travel while I was there. So I might get remember I got a high rise or something in KL where we were on a rooftop pool. Yeah. That's what I would say. Oh, let me just book a place for us so we could switch it up and be here for a couple of days.
My freaking gosh.
Yeah.
And y'all were how early 20s at this point?
25 or 24? What's that?
20, moving like that? That is amazing.
Or 26.
So we were.
I was 26. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was 25. Yeah.
So earlier you said that your mom spoke to her. Is that what initiated the friendship?
Yeah.
I think
that's
so.
a crazy story.
Yeah.
Okay, keep it brief if you can.
Because it's a little wild, to be quite honest.
I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah, because you don't remember it. But Kristen
bit.
wasn't there. It was like our orientation before we started high school.
Okay.
And we may have started high school maybe the next day or something like that.
Like a few days after or something.
Yeah, but I was with my mom and I had a volleyball game because I started high school and I was like, oh, I want to do a sport, and I played volleyball. So my mom, we got back from the bus, and then my mom, after the orientation, was in the parking lot. And she told me that my grandfather had passed, so I was distraught, like crying in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And my mom trying to console me, but Kristen's mom saw this happening, and then she came over and was consoling us while we were crying. And then eventually we got our bearings together, and she was like, yeah, my daughter, she's starting school tomorrow, so you should meet her. Her name is Kristen, blah, blah, blah.
Oh my goodness.
But we didn't meet, but when we started high school, we had homeroom, then we had first, second, third, fourth. We had like 8 periods.
This girl be remembering everything. She remembers the whole schedule from freshman year. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, you got a good memory.
I don't know what my classes, who my teachers were. Like,
yeah, first period we had English class, and she was in my class, but my last name is D, hers is W, so we weren't sitting on the same side. But we're in all honors classes, so there are only like a handful of
we
kids
kept
in each
having
class.
classes together.
So first period, see her, whatever, and I see like a few other people. Second period, that's when we had, I think, word processing. Third period, we had Spanish, and then fourth period, we had science.
Memory.
Like, how? This blows my mind.
Like, by the time we get to fourth period, I'm just like, yo, this girl
at this
is in
point.
every single one of my classes. So then we meet, and she's like, oh yeah, because you had another friend named Adrienne Davis.
I did. That's so funny. I had 2 best friends. One best friend through like middle school, elementary and middle, who was Adrienne Davis. Then I get to high school and I get a new best friend named Adrienne Davis.
Oh
so funny.
my
really
freaking
wild.
gosh.
Yeah.
How do you do it, Chris?
I don't know how that happened.
And then being in science class, I was like, okay, so we need to meet. And then I think that's when we found out that's your mom, who I was talking to, in the parking lot, literally like the night or 2 before.
Wow. Well, shout out to mom. I always say this about your mom. I think she's like the dopest woman.
Aww.
And I cannot wait to meet her. Girl, I can't wait to meet you. But shout out to your mom for
I know.
that.
The fact that she just saw you over there, because she was just like, what's wrong with her? And she really just reached out, just seeing somebody like that who she didn't know, but she's just like, what's wrong? That's
my goodness.
So, exactly. So that's more of her mom's character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. We gotta have our moms on the pod one
should.
day.
I know, that would be
Child.
dope. That would be
The
dope.
things they would say.
Life lesson.
Wow. I mean, I'm just really just still trying to process all of this. This is just so good. And I hope that y'all can see how good this is, because you know, it's nothing like being in person and being able to experience this and witness this, but like, this is just so good. So, woo, this is good.
Yes,
I'm excited. Oh, I got so many jiggles. Okay, so, I don't know, like, let's just keep it flowing. This is so good.
Yeah.
Well, what did you all want to talk about next? I don't know. Did you do your icebreaker?
Yeah, I think this is a good
this
time.
would be a good
I
time
think
to
it's
do
a
an
good time
icebreaker.
to transition. So we spoke a lot about how we've traveled together. We are both really big travelers. We love to explore the world. But now with the state of the economy, it's not as just simple, right? Like, it's hard. We are more grown. We have responsibilities. Some people are homeowners. Like, neither of us have families yet, but I know we're moving towards that and those steps. And so it's not as simple as just like booking a trip and, you know, hopping to the other side of the world, especially with what's going on with inflation and everything that the country is going through right now to hit our pockets. It's crazy. But I say all that to say, I wanted to kind of talk about some money conversation, money topics, because we cannot ignore it, right? Like, I know with me, I've not always been, you know, just the most savvy when it comes to finances, but that's something that I'm actively working on, especially in my 30s. But speaking of travel, so what happens when your girlfriend comes to you with a trip for her birthday and a birthday trip where she wants to go somewhere, maybe across the country or another country, and it's not in the budget? What do y'all do when that has that happen, and how do you manage that? Like, do you just try to make it work? Do you try to go? Or are you keeping your budget in mind in that situation?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Well, you want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after this, I want to hear about your relationship with money too. I know Kristen talked about hers a bit, but one, I would assess how close am I with this? And you said your best friend, right? Okay, so
or just a friend. I think let's just say
friend.
just a friend, and then also a best friend.
Because I think that changes a lot of the dynamics. If it's truly your best friend and you all talk about anything, which Kristen and I do, and I can be very transparent when it comes to my money, I would not have an issue. But I think she could also convince me and say, girl, well, you can make it work somehow. Like, you got points. Like, I don't know. Like, is there something that you can do to figure this out? And I think I've had experiences with this for like bachelorette trips, right? Because those can be pricey.
Yeah.
From that experience, I remember they came and said like, hey, let's do a bachelorette trip. We want to do it President's Day weekend. But they had told us maybe like January 4th or 5th, right? So it maybe gave us a month notice. And this was for my cousin. So of course, my family, she's getting married. I really want to be there to support her. So what I saw some of the other ladies do is say like, hey, they floated, hey, this is what we think it will cost. And then the ladies pushed back and said, is there somewhere cheaper that we can actually stay? What can we do? Like even potentially changing location. They said, let's do something in driving distance to be able to cut back. So if this is truly your best friend or someone you're close to, can you give some guidance to like, all right, this may not be somewhere that I can do that's cost effective. So if you want to do like a beach trip and they're like, yeah, let's go to Bali. All right, can we go somewhere a little bit more reasonable? I don't know how much more reasonable Miami would be.
Yeah.
It is expensive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm trying to see, like, how can we compromise?
Yeah.
If it's someone who I'm not as close to, I likely would just, I'm transparent, I guess, since I work with money every day and people are transparent to me. So I feel like I owe other people the same thing to say, like, hey, this actually isn't the budget. And it could rub people the wrong way if they're not used to hearing that or they're like, oh, she's just making excuses or something. Or they may have a perception of you to say, well, I know they make money, they live here, how can you not afford it? But they don't know what someone's financial situation is. They don't know, for example, what do I see with my clients? People may have to support family members to the tune of like over $2,000 a month.
Wow.
And then they don't have a lot of disposable income to be able to do other things. And that's one thing I have to be conscious of too. So that's my own personal experience.
I'm thinking about a trip. Actually, that just made me think of my homegirl Tamika. This is my sister, another one of my best friends, and we have a birthday that's a week apart. And that just reminded me, I think I have an email in my inbox right now about some trip details. And I kind of was just like, oh, I'll get to that later, but I need to get to it because I'm like, oh yeah, this is coming up. So I have to really make that decision too in this case because this is my bestie, this is my sis, this is we are sharing a birthday, so it essentially would be my birthday trip too.
Yeah.
So it's just like I really do want to make that happen, but it could be it could be pretty costly. So we have to really sit with that for a little bit, and I feel like I can make it happen though. It's just like I feel like I could. I feel like I want to go. So okay, I have another question for you. So would you rather have a low-paying job that you love or a high-paying job that you hate? And why?
Oh my gosh. Well,
Right.
that's so tough.
I think I have a good answer to that, but go ahead.
Well, do you want to start?
I'll start. So I feel like nothing is permanent, right? So I think this question depends on the phase that you're in your life.
For sure.
So for me, I have had low-paying jobs that I love, and I've also had a couple high-paying jobs that I hated. But I feel like they both had a role in my life at that time. So what I would rather have now is probably a high-paying job because I'm trying to get to that next level financially. But I would have to have that escape timeline. Like, even though I hate this job, I'm only going to be here. I probably couldn't last 6 months, to be honest. I would probably have to give myself a really tight timeline. And I would have goals like, let me just save $50K or something. I'll just be here to save $50K and then dip. Like, that's how I would have to take it.
Yeah.
I would have to be really smart. But I know for me, I can't be in a job that I hate for too long.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think it's hard to say because it's like numbers, like low paying, am I able to pay my bills, right? So if I'm able to pay my bills and I'm doing a job that I love and however I'm not able to do all the extras, it would probably be a
Yeah.
little bit uncomfortable, but at least I am not borderline like depressed or anxious or anything like that.
Yeah.
Where you see me on
Right.
the side of, okay, I can't even function in my personal
Yeah.
life because
Yeah.
of how stressful or how much I hate the job.
Yeah.
To answer the question, I would probably prefer to have a low paying job that I really love. And because whenever I have had the higher paying jobs where I maybe potentially hated it, still have been saving and investing so I could have like a fuck you account. So like,
Yeah.
if I do need to leave, like when I quit my job and traveled to Asia, that was an example of okay,
Yeah.
I can't take this anymore.
Right.
Just the work was stressful, the hours were stressful. I had my nest egg. I was able to just quit my job and still be able to like pay my bills and go frolic around the world for a few months.
Yeah. Whew. Those were some great ass responses. I think
Yeah.
I mean, I can relate to both without a doubt. Like you said, being able to have that exit plan for a high paying job that is just a no for me. I can understand and relate to that. And then to your point, like you said, a low paying job, as long as it covers my bills and it doesn't sacrifice my mental space, then that's good. I'm just going to answer the question directly instead of like giving a backstory. Okay. Well, I'm just going to answer the question. But like you were saying, like it really do matter where you are at in your life,
Yeah.
you know? I think for me, just personally, I am a non-negotiable is intentionally putting myself in a space where I'm just not thriving. If I don't feel like I'm thriving, then it's a
can't be
no for
there.
me. I
Yeah.
can't be
Yeah. I
there.
cannot
You
do
get what
it.
I'm saying? And also, I mean, I do have the support of my partner and my family as well. So again, it depends on where that person is at in their lives. Like
Yeah.
you have to be able to, and it's funny because just literally last night I had a conversation with my partner about how I want to be more self-sufficient. That is also important for me too. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like
Yeah.
I want to be a liability and be like, fuck this job, I'm out.
Right.
I'm going to go, you know what I mean? And just rely on you guys to take care of me. No, but I do know when it comes to, you know, if it came down to if I'm going to work a job or be in an environment that just is not allowing me to grow or be myself versus, oh, I'm not bringing 40, 50K home, but my partner is like, they're fine with that, then I'm just going to go be with my family. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to like
That's always
lose
gonna win.
myself.
That's
Yeah,
always
that's
gonna
always,
win.
I'm always
That's
going to
how I
win. You
feel
get what I'm
too.
saying?
Right.
So I'm not, no, it's a no for me putting myself in environments that I'm just not myself. I can't.
Yeah. Same.
And then to your point about having a family, I think that's such a big dynamic where I
Yeah.
say for myself, whatever I need to do to grind now while I don't have a family, because I'm sure that changes immediately. Like, oh, I'm taking whatever job is going to allow my kids to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Private school,
It's a different
sports,
mindset.
whatever. Like, okay, I have the degrees, credentials. You can always pivot, and that's something that we talk about too. Like, if you don't like doing something, you can just always switch it up and change it up. And people may say like, "Oh, you already switch. You always switch." First of all, people who care about you will always be supportive.
Supportive,
no matter
for
what you
sure.
wanna do.
Yeah.
And then people who I don't know, I wouldn't say haters, but the people who maybe notice it. First
Right.
of all, most people probably don't even notice that you make that many pivots.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
those who don't and they aren't in your corner, oh fucking well.
Yeah,
I
for
guess.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
If you are judging somebody who makes pivots, I just don't believe that you yourself are happy with where you
No, for
are.
sure.
Because I feel like anybody who's successful has had to pivot a lot of times.
Yeah.
Nobody I
Yeah.
know who's just got it, you know, like
Yeah.
stagnant. Oh, I knew exactly what I wanted to do and it's perfect here. And I'm judging somebody else because they switched it up. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody like that. So
Yeah.
you're probably hating because you're coming from a place of a lack of fulfillment in your own life and you're scared to take a leap. That's why you're looking at somebody else sideways for taking leaps. I'm so grateful for you because I don't think there's anybody else in my life who I have this many transparent money conversations
Yeah.
with. And so to kind of have that and to gain your insight has been so much of a blessing for me. So I would just really encourage people to have conversations
Yeah.
with people who they can. And also I have conversations with my fellow entrepreneurial friends.
Yes.
And that's also been really helpful, just figuring out like how much are we charging? What are our rates? Like
Yeah.
just being confident in raising our rates. Like you need people, you know, who are also confident in on that same journey. Even if you're not a business owner, if you're working really having those conversations more often. You know, we might not always be comfortable with our coworkers, like, how
Yeah,
much
for
you make?
sure.
But I think we should, you know, in the workplace, have more conversations, find out what other people are making, and even if you're not
Or what they're
comfortable.
doing
Yeah.
to survive.
That too,
almost. You know, I hate to use that
exactly.
word, but
And there's also
Yeah.
online forums too. I know like Glassdoor has forums and, you know, just those salary checks, but
Okay.
sometimes that's not always as transparent for your own situation. So conversations, talk
it
about it with
helps.
your friends,
it helps.
get some friends, you know, in your career field or in your same business industry, you know.
I like to read Reddit personally. For
Reddit.
Mine.
Okay.
Forum for people who are CFPs. I'm sure there was a public accounting one. I would read that one sometimes, and then the CFP board publishes things. But even Money Diaries. From
Oh, you love that.
29.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You
The
love
way
that?
I used to rave about that.
You said Money Diaries from who?
Refinery 29.
Okay.
The way that probably even got me on my personal finance journey to really be interested in, like, oh, this is how much other people make, this is how they spend it. Like, to this day, I'll go look at a money diary and I'm like, oh, someone makes around the range of what I do. Let me see how they spend it. And it's always so interesting, fascinating. Like, they may be coupled up, right? And they are splitting the rent or the mortgage, so they don't, like,
That
their
goes
housing
so-
expenses may not be as high.
Yeah.
Or, you see what subscriptions people care about. And that's what I get to do with my job now. So actually my job is basically an extension of Money Diary. So that's
Which you
cool.
love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you live?
You
How much
love
y'all
it.
pay? Let
Yes.
me know all the tea. What car do you drive? I just love knowing all that stuff. Black women, and they may work, because tech is really popping. So I'm just thinking about a lot of my clients are Black women who work in tech, and they make a lot.
They making
Nice.
that bank.
Yeah, and they get a lot of equity. And
I love
so
that for them.
Yeah,
the
but
Black
I'm like,
women.
oh my gosh, like I only have like, I don't know, 50,000 in my bank account. Am I doing enough? It's like, girl, you got like 300,000 in stock over there. You're good. And they're like, and then you're like, oh wow, like what should I do? It's like, all right, let's create a game plan. So then this could help them, you know, be set up and not be as anxious, because even they could be anxious. They like, oh,
No,
for
I'm doing the
sure.
right thing.
Yeah,
For sure.
exactly.
Yeah, so I help them with their employee benefits. So, for example, really knowing like, okay, does your job match your 401k? How can we take advantage of it? Are there any other places where we should be putting your money that could be advantageous? And then a lot of the high earners want to make sure they're being a good steward, because they've also seen, yes, I know people who make a lot of money who spend all that money and don't show anything for it, so, or don't have anything to show for it. So our goal is really to help them have an understanding, make sure they're being disciplined when it comes to that. Like, all right, are y'all doing your backdoor Roth IRAs? Are you investing in the stock market? What do you use your bonus for? You can't use it for yourself, but let's use it to have some other goals here. So I really, really, really do.
You look like you
what I
enjoy
do.
it. Yeah. Took the words right out your
She's
mouth.
so good
You
at
look
it,
like you
and she
enjoy
loves
it.
Is passionate about it, which that's so important.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Oh
and so I always try to make it a safe space, because I know money is something that one could be sensitive.
Yeah.
That's why even when we were talking about like, what do you see on social media, and it's just like, I don't want to throw any of my clients under the bus.
For
or
sure.
anything like
Absolutely
that.
not.
But I think that my clients also want to change, and they are working with me. And that doesn't mean not everybody needs a financial planner. Like, if someone came to me and was like, oh, can I be your financial planner? I'll be like, I'm a little cool, right? Like, my dad's like my financial planner. I'm my financial planner. And then I also have another financial advisor who I work with. So I guess that means I actually do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess I
I think everybody does need one.
Because, there
Finding
are
the
blind
right-
spots that I made.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's psychology that goes into it, right? Like, with my investments, I could be stressed about it. And then your financial advisor is just like, girl, chill. The market just does this all the time. Do not stress. Do not fret. And you just need that encouragement to say, like, all right, everything looks bad, and how can we stay focused?
Yeah.
This reminds me of even reading. I tell everybody I'm reading Sheila Johnson's book because of how good it is. But she was talking about her financial advisor was Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan. I'm like, dang, Jamie Dimon just had speed down calling her. It's like, oh, you need to not build Salamander for a couple of years because the economy's so bad.
Oh, man.
And then she stopped, and then he was like, all right, now you can. And he saved her like a lot of money. Like, it's not looking good. I can see over the horizon. You just need to put a pin in this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, put a pin in this now,
Yeah.
and then come revisit it.
And
So-
she did, and
And
she was able
did,
to.
and now she's flourishing with her black-owned.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Right,
Salamander.
right.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And that's just,
And what's the name of her book?
yeah.
Walk Through Fire. I
Okay.
believe.
Walk Through. She's been raving to me about it since she started it, so I know I'm about to cop that book.
When did you start reading it?
I started reading it maybe a couple of weeks ago. I
Okay.
finished it, I think, this past week, and that was towards the end when she was talking about her salamander experience.
Mm.
But I was just eating it up because
Yeah.
like people don't know a lot of things about like I knew about salamander because I actually had gone there before. I knew about BET, of course, but most people think about her ex-husband when they think about it. But she came out pretty nice with
Okay.
BET. It sold for like billions of dollars to Viacom, and then she also is the owner of, I think, the Wizards, the Caps, and the
Oh wow,
Mystics.
I didn't even know that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
That's a good
Boss.
breed.
Yeah,
She's a
no,
boss
that I
lady.
need
Yeah,
to
like
read.
my mind.
I
I'm
love
just
a black
like,
woman memoir.
wow. No, for
Like,
sure.
yeah.
Wow, that's good. Well, thank you for sharing that and all the things with us. Well, I know we have to close it out, which sucks
I
because
know we could keep talking.
we can
but-
keep talking about this for sure.
Well, how are you real lifing, Eb? What's going on in your life right now?
Yeah.
That you're real lifing?
Well, I don't know if I made this announcement yet. I know I've, been telling you guys I've been focused on real estate, getting through the class. Well, I finally have my license in the Maryland area. Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
And this falls right in line with what we were just talking about with just elevating that money mindset and matching that frequency for you to be in this space to up level your career, your next move, and helping people build their wealth.
No, for sure.
That's amazing.
For sure. And that's the message and that's my intent is to really
so
just
excited.
help people build their generational wealth too. So while I do, while I do it simultaneously.
I'm so excited.
Yay, yeah. So if y'all looking to buy, rent, sell, whatever, call me. But yes, that's what I've been real lifing lately. How about you, Chris?
So I actually had a session with an emotional regulation / wealth coach. And her name is Mickey Bay. She came into so I'm part of this mastermind group of women that I love. And she came in and had a coaching session for us. And then I had a one-on-one session. And when I tell you, she is so good. She's so good. So just kind of like having her guide me through the process of like writing out a goal for different areas in my life, from wealth to love to career to spirituality to something else, but and then just walking me through that process of, like I said, matching my energy to reach that next goal in those different areas, and just talking about releasing the stress and worry around money. You cannot operate from a place of want, but for so long. If you're just want, you're just always going to be wanting.
Yeah.
You have to believe that it's already yours,
Yeah.
and you have to be that person who you want to be when you have what you want. You know, just mirror that energy. If you're like waiting to be XYZ, maybe you're like, oh, I'm not going to get dressed up, or I'm not as fun because I don't have money.
Yeah.
No, you can get dressed up now, and you can still be that fun person. You can still be a generous person, even if you don't have money, or even if you don't have the man, like you can treat yourself to things. And you can believe that you have love and that you have money, that it's coming to you, even if it's not in your account right as we speak, but it's coming. The relationships that you want, they're coming. You can still embody that person that you want to be.
Yes.
So like I'm just digesting that because her words have been so powerful. So definitely look her up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Her name is Mickey Bay.
That's a cute name.
Yeah,
I
Mickey
like that.
Bay.
Yeah.
So we'll drop it in the show notes too. But she's bomb. So
Yeah. I'm
that was
happy to
great.
hear that for you.
Yeah.
And that brings back to what you were saying earlier, just that friendly reminder. Stay prayed up in this economy. We talk about this here on Real Life Everything all the time. Just imagine a man or woman you want to be, and be intentional with your actions daily to real life.
Exactly.
That person that you see yourself as or becoming. So I'm
and
happy.
it starts with your thoughts and your beliefs.
It really do.
It's just
It
really
really do.
believing. And
It
just
really
shed
do.
the worry. Worry doesn't get us any further.
Yeah.
So just believe in it.
So that's
How are
super
you real life,
aligning.
Dree?
so this is a transparency thing. I'm like, ooh, it's kind of scary to share, but Kristen knows about it. But for my current job, negotiating your worth, right?
Yes.
So what do I believe that I should be paid? What does my job pay me? And this is something that I talk to so many clients about, right? Like, can we command more salary, more bonus, more equity? And I just had a cool story with a client, but I'll talk about my own self personally. Like, having to have those hard conversations with your boss and really show, having my brag list that I think you, Kristen, probably even told me, like, make sure you write down everything.
No, for
The
sure.
brag bank. The
We got a brag bank.
Yeah. You do, make sure that you are writing it down so that when it's time for performance reviews and evaluations, you can really show up for yourself. And even if you have to look at other places, like, that's another thing Kristen will help encourage and say, like, it's not a problem if you need to pivot and transition.
Yeah.
That's what I'm kind of going through right now. It's definitely been a sensitive topic for me, like talking to like family members, therapists, friends, advisors, really just to see, but that's what I'm going through right now.
Yeah,
So
I loved that conversation. You know, I really appreciate you sharing with us and all of us being able to have that safe space to talk about money. I think it's especially hard in the Black community because I know with you, Dree, you had the opportunity to grow up with just transparent, candid conversations. Me, not as much. So really just wanting to change that for my future family and myself, like, you have definitely played such a big role in that. So thank you so much, girl. Thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of the Real Life Everything podcast.
Yes, make sure you use our hashtags on social media, the RLE Pod and Real Life Everything.
And don't forget to follow us on all platforms. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at the RLE Pod.